So I think the Pittsburgh Steelers rightfully have a lot of questions surrounding their offense going into the second year with quarterback Kenny Pickett under the helm leading the troops. Now, Matt Canada was also brought back as an offensive coordinator, and it's a team in a very competitive division in the AFC North. Got the Baltimore Ravens, got the Cincinnati Bengals, have the Cleveland Browns, and I think that a lot of people are banking on the Bengals, a lot of people are banking on the Ravens. There's some questions surrounding the Cleveland Browns, but I think that the common consensus is that the Pittsburgh Steelers do not have what it takes. Now, we're going to talk about that today and see some of the things that happened in this game, and it's around the question what we're going to talk about. Can the Pittsburgh Steelers carry their offensive momentum in the Week 1 preseason game and the Week 2 preseason game? Can that be carried into the NFL regular season? Now, talking about today's game versus the Buffalo Bills, they came out heavy hitting. I think that's the best way I can describe that. Jaylen Warren with the big time run, and Jordan Poyer had the angle. He had an angle on Jaylen Warren, but he did not get the tackle. He actually missed it. Then he continued to outrun everybody else. So I think it does kind of spark the debate. Some people want to say, let's get Jaylen Warren some more carries. Najee Harris isn't getting it done. And I don't think Najee Harris is ever going to be that big time 60, 50-yard breakaway run, kind of like what we saw to Jaylen Warren today. But that's why you have the 1-2 punch. In today's NFL, it's always running back by committee. Unless you have a Derrick Henry, sometimes a Nick Chubb, but even he has some guys getting carries behind him. Even Derrick Henry has some guys getting carries behind him. So I think now when we look at that and go back into it, Najee Harris, Jaylen Warren, they're both here to stay. They're both here to get carries in a backfield that's looking to take another step. When you add a guy like Broderick Jones, when you got Dan Moore taking another step, when you still got Okafor at the other tackle position, you have some battles there and you have some depth along that position group. So now Kenny Pickett, he's looking pretty solid, and I think that the question is, can Kenny Pickett ever be the guy who's elevating a team? Now, understanding he is a good quarterback, he can be a good point guard when we talk about guys who just deliver the football in the confines and construct of the offense. They do everything that they're asked to do, that they're supposed to do. But will he be the guy that gets on the move, that makes plays out of the pocket? And I think he showed that to a certain extent so far. Looking at last season, what he did, I think about the game against the Raiders. I think about some of those game-winning drives, and I think that the plug should have been pulled earlier on a guy like Mitchell Trubisky and see what you have in the rookie quarterback who you drafted first round. And I don't want to get into that draft class because it was really weird when we didn't have guys like Malik Willis, Desmond Ridder, Sam Howell. They all fell, Matt Corral. But Kenny Pickett was the guy who was deserving of being the only quarterback in that year's class to be the first round pick. So now I'm talking about his weapon group. I think that Calvin Austin on that big time punt return, he made a couple guys miss. He got down the football field, and I thought he was going the distance. He did not end up going the distance, but seeing that electric run, then getting the football back to Kenny Pickett, getting the big time completion and the touchdown and Pat Fryer move. Now let's talk about that ball, because that I wouldn't say it was a risky throw, but I think it's a calculated risk. When I talk about quarterbacks, I always want to say, you don't want to go out there just throwing caution to the wind, but be a calculated risk taker. That's kind of some of the things I was talking about with Bryce Young, because I went to their training camp, seeing some of the things he did in training camp. It's all about being a calculated risk taker, knowing when and when not to try to fit a football. But he fit that football in there against man coverage, had a safety over the top, and he put it where only Pat Frymuth can make a play on the football. He caught it, touchdown. I love to see that, especially from Kenny Pickett, seeing the anticipation, understand that you're getting through your reads pretty quickly on that play. You see what's going on. You see what angle you have to throw the football. You see how quickly and what tight of a window you have to throw this football, and you make the throw. I'm seeing some of the accuracies. Now, I still can't get past the two gloves. The two gloves, I don't know if it'll ever rub me the right way. I do not know, but I think that even with the two gloves, he makes throws with the football. He can push the ball down the football field. And I think that Matt Canada, when I talk about some of the things in year one and why the offense was so elementary, like what we saw, the play concepts, the route concepts, the run game was predictable. It was not a great offensive scheme, but I think you still had good weapons. And now with those weapons developing, a George Pickens, a Deontay Johnson looking to get back to the Pro Bowl, you bring in an Allen Robinson, Calvin Austin looking to make a step up. We see what he's doing in the return game, wants to do some of that in the receiving game, kind of being a gadget weapon. I think that the pieces are in place. Like I said, you have some rotational depth within the offensive line. That's pretty solid right there. And then you draft the Broderick Jones. So you feel very good about the offseason, everything that was done, and even getting to the linebackers. But we're touching on the offense today. I think that they have a lot of places in piece to really continue that offensive momentum that we've seen thus far. I think I look at the drive in week 1 against Tampa Bay in that preseason game, and it was the same thing. It was electric. Kenny Pickett being decisive, moving the football, understanding what he's looking at, making full field progressions. I saw some great things out of Kenny Pickett, and like I said, I don't know, because we talk about ceiling when we talk about every quarterback. I don't know what Kenny Pickett's ceiling is. I truly don't know. I don't know if he'll be in the range of a 10 to 15 guy for the duration of his career. I don't know if he can really hit a level and get past the top 10 in quarterback play. I truly do not. But I think that right now, that's not the biggest thing. Understanding that you have a feisty defense who can be top 10 to 5 in a given year, and that you want to do some great things. You want to push the football. You want to elevate your teammates, but you don't want to lose the game as well. So with Matt Canada, we're going to see, how does he push those buttons? How does he become, as a play caller, a calculator, risk taker in the passing game, levying up and switching up some of the run play predictability, getting Jalen Warren on the move more, getting him in space so he can do what he did today, letting Najee Harris be a workhorse, catch the football like he did at Alabama, get downhill, and create rushing lanes for Najee Harris. I think all of those things are in piece, but I want you, the viewer, to let me know down below in the comments, do you think the Pittsburgh Steelers can carry their preseason offensive momentum into the regular season in week 1? Got San Francisco. It's a very tough opponent, but I want to know what you think in the comments. Thank you for watching as always. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe for more daily sports content. That's going to do it for today's show, though. And now,